Welcome to Factory on Air by DBR77, where smart manufacturing gets real. In Episode 1, we dive into one of the most critical success factors in modern manufacturing, real-time production monitoring. You'll learn what it actually means to monitor machines in real time, why outdated data leads to wrong decisions, and how micro-downtime silently kills your efficiency. We'll show you how to turn raw IoT signals into actionable insights, from identifying bottlenecks to boosting OEE and making smarter, faster decisions every day. You'll also hear real-world case studies from Poland, Germany, and the US, showing how companies have improved performance by over 20% using smart monitoring. This episode is brought to you by DBR77, the all-in-one AI-powered platform for digital twins, industrial IoT, and marketplace automation. We help factories connect data, decisions, and technology without long, expensive implementations. Let's get started.
Imagine for a moment the heart of a modern factory. You know, that constant hum, or maybe the controlled chaos of a huge logistics hub. It's this incredibly complex dance of machines, processes, people. But here's the real question, the one that keeps managers up at night. How do they actually know what's happening on that floor? Not yesterday, not even an hour ago, but right this second. Because let's be honest, the traditional way, it's full of blind spots. You get reports that are, already history by the time you read them. Problems just fester, right? Until, boom, a costly breakdown. You always feel like you're playing catch up. And the consequences of not having that immediate, clear picture, they really ripple outwards. It's not just about losing some productivity today. It's this constant firefighting mode that just, suffocates innovation. It can compromise quality, and ultimately it really hits your ability to compete long term. So that's our mission today in this deep dive. We want to unpack the absolute critical importance of real-time data in manufacturing, in logistics. We'll look at why it matters so much, but also how it fundamentally changes things for a company. And then we're going to really dig into a specific, pretty comprehensive solution that's tackling these exact challenges head on. We're drawing from two key sources today. One that lays out the sort of principles and problems of real-time monitoring, and another that details a specific platform designed to solve them.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is that this isn't just about, tweaking things for a bit more efficiency. We're talking about a fundamental shift, a really profound change in how industry operates. Data itself is becoming the new raw material. It's almost like steel or silicon, It's that vital. For companies trying to navigate this market, which is changing so fast, getting a handle on this data-driven approach isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's becoming about survival, honestly. It's about gaining that decisive competitive edge. And we'll be connecting the dots today, linking the principles from that first source on effective monitoring directly to this platform, DBR77, which our second document details. It really offers a holistic way to tackle these issues.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. When we say real-time production monitoring, what are we actually talking about? Because it sounds like it's way more than just getting a report at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. It's much more dynamic. Think of it as a continuous automated flow. Data is constantly being collected, transmitted, and analyzed from, basically everything. Machines, production lines, key processes within the facility. The key word here is immediacy. It gives you a live, current snapshot of what's happening on the factory floor right now. Okay. It completely cuts out those frustrating delays you get with manual reporting or waiting for data to be compiled. And how does this happen? Well, mostly through IoT sensors, Internet of Things sensors placed right on the equipment. This data then streams into analytics dashboards, which ideally are really intuitive, giving you that instant visibility.
Okay, so that's the what. Now, to really drive home the urgency, let's talk about the flip side. What happens when companies don't have this? What are the hidden costs, the pitfalls?
Right. And they often are hidden, which is the tricky part. Without that immediate feedback loop, managers end up just reacting to symptoms. They see a problem, but they don't have the real-time data to understand the root cause. They don't know why it happened, just that it happened. Think about something we call micro-stoppages. These are tiny little pauses, glitches in a machine maybe lasting just a few seconds. Individually, they seem totally insignificant, easy to ignore. But here's the kicker. Without real-time monitoring to catch and count them, they just accumulate relentlessly, shift after shift, day after day, and they add up to massive productivity losses over time. It really can cripple a plant's output. It's like a 1,000 tiny leaks draining your resources without you even noticing.
Wow, okay, so those little stops aren't so little in the long run.
Not at all. And beyond that, think about identifying bottlenecks. Those choke points in the production flow where things just pile up. Without real-time visibility, you often don't even know you have a bottleneck until it's causing major backups downstream. Plus, all your planning, resource allocation, meeting forecasts, scheduling it becomes inherently flawed. Why? Because it's based on data that's incomplete or outdated or maybe even just anecdotal. Someone thought something was happening. It's like trying to navigate a ship in thick fog using yesterday's weather map. You might know the general direction, but you're completely blind to the rocks and currents right in front of you. It leads to wasted resources, missed deadlines, and just this constant state of scrambling.
And I imagine this directly hits that big metric people talk about in manufacturing OEE, overall equipment effectiveness. I've heard it's crucial, but how does this lack of real-time data mess with OEE? Could you maybe unpack OEE a bit for us?
Absolutely. OEE is, well, it's a cornerstone metric. It gives you that holistic view of how well your manufacturing operation is truly performing. It's not just one thing. It cleverly combines three key elements. First, you have availability. Simple concept. How much time is a machine actually running compared to the time it was scheduled to run? This accounts for all that unplanned downtime, setups, changeovers, adjustments. Second is performance. This looks at how fast the machine is running compared to its ideal or theoretical maximum speed. Is it running slower than it should? Are there lots of those micro-stoppages slowing it down? That's performance. And third, there's quality. This is about the good stuff. How many good defect-free units did you produce compared to the total number you started? This accounts for scrap, rework, defects.
Okay. Availability, performance, quality. Makes sense.
Right. Now, the problem without real-time data is that calculating OEE accurately becomes incredibly difficult. You're often relying on manual logs filled out by operators, or maybe reports compiled at the end of a shift. These are just prone to errors, omissions, delays. So what happens? You lose the ability to react quickly when availability drops, or performance dips, or quality takes a hit. You might only find out hours, maybe even days later. By then, the problem has already caused significant damage, significant cost. It basically disconnects your planning from what's actually happening on the floor. It makes it almost impossible to truly optimize your output, pinpoint those nagging inefficiencies, and get the most out of your expensive equipment and skilled people. Real-time data lights up all three parts of OEE instantly, so you can take immediate action and drive that continuous improvement cycle.
That connection is crystal clear now.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want this kind of instant, granular view, what are the specific things companies should be measuring in real time? Beyond just knowing if a machine is on or off, what gives them that competitive edge?
Yeah, that's where it gets really powerful. It's about capturing the details that paint the full picture. So obviously, machine runtime versus downtime, you need that with precision. But also, critically, the number of units produced compared to the plan right now. Are you on track, ahead, falling behind? For quality, you need continuous monitoring of errors and defects. Not just the number, but ideally the types of defects, what's going wrong. Then there are the machine parameters themselves. Things like temperature, pressure, maybe vibration, energy consumption. These can be early warning signs of trouble, predicting potential failures. And definitely tracking those micro-stoppages we talked about. Quantifying that hidden loss is key. Same with operational cycle time for each step. How long does each part of the process actually take? That lets you optimize the flow. And of course, all three components of OEE, availability, performance, quality, need to be tracked dynamically in real time, not just as a historical score calculated later.
That's a lot of data points. So how do companies actually collect all this, practically, using these IoT technologies? It sounds potentially complex to set up.
It does, but the approach is usually quite strategic. It starts with placing the right IoT sensors on the critical machines or points in the production line. And these aren't just generic sensors. They're chosen specifically for the data you need. Could be a simple on-off sensor or something more complex like an accelerometer for vibration, a temperature probe, maybe a current sensor for energy use. Once that data is collected, it needs to be transmitted in real time, often wirelessly, which makes installation easier, to a central platform for analysis. But, and this is crucial, just collecting data isn't enough. The next step is clear, real-time visualization. Dashboards that are easy to understand at a glance. Operators, supervisors, managers need to see what's happening immediately to react. And then there's the intelligence layer. This is where AI, artificial intelligence, comes in. AI algorithms can sift through these huge streams of data and detect anomalies, subtle deviations from normal operations that human might miss. This can flag potential issues before they cause a major breakdown, sometimes even predicting failures days in advance.
Okay, that really brings the how into focus. Let's make this even more concrete. Our sources mentioned some real-world examples. Can you share those? What tangible benefits did companies actually see when they implemented this kind of immediate data access?
Absolutely. The results can be Quite dramatic. One source mentions a Polish automotive factory. They put an IoT system on their assembly lines. Get this. Within just 6 months, they saw a 20% increase in operational efficiency. 20% in half a year in automotive, that's huge. Then there's a German furniture manufacturer. They use digital sensors, specifically targeting those micro-stoppages we keep mentioning. They managed to cut them down by 25%, a quarter reduction in those hidden drains. And bonus, their reporting accuracy shot way up too. And it's not just manufacturing floors. An American logistics company monitored their warehouse operations in real time, particularly their transport equipment. They managed to decrease equipment failures by 30%. Imagine the cost savings and uptime improvements from that. These aren't just theories, they're real measurable gains.
Those examples really hit home. It sounds like this immediate access transforms things from being reactive to, well, proactive and much more controlled.
Exactly. That ability for immediate problem response is, frankly, monumental. It means minimizing downtime because you're catching issues right away, often before they snowball, instead of finding out hours later. It also leads to much more precise planning. Production schedules, resource allocation, you know exactly what's needed, where, and when, because your plan is based on current reality, not old data. This fundamentally shifts decision-making. You move away from gut feelings and guesswork towards solid, fact-based actions. That means faster, more confident decisions across the board. Ultimately, you get better utilization of everything, your people, your machines. You maximize their potential. And really importantly, it boosts product quality. If you can detect deviations from quality standards in real time, you can correct them immediately, preventing whole batches of bad products from ever being made. That protects your bottom line and your reputation.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. If a company is convinced, how do they actually make this happen successfully? What are the best practices for implementation? And maybe, what are the traps to avoid?
Good question. Implementation is key. First, and this is vital for building momentum, start small. Don't try to boil the ocean and digitize the entire factory at once. Pick a key machine, maybe one problematic production line where you know there are potential gains. Start there, get a proof of concept, show some quick wins. That builds confidence and gets people on board. Second, you need data discipline. This isn't about collecting every possible bit of data. It's about collecting the right data, the data you actually need to make decisions. Too much irrelevant data just creates noise.
Quality over quantity, right?
Precisely. Third, simplicity and visualization is key. Those dashboards we talked about, they need to be super intuitive, easy to read, easy to understand at a glance. If people have to struggle to figure out what they're looking at, they just won't use it effectively. That defeats the purpose of quick reaction. Fourth, focus on actionable insights. Don't just collect data and admire the charts. You need to actively analyze it, understand what it's telling you in context, and then this is the crucial part, use that understanding to drive corrective actions and improvements. Data has to lead to action. And finally, probably the most important one, a people-centric approach. Get your employees involved from day one. Educate them, train them, listen to their feedback. Their buy-in and active participation are absolutely essential. They're the ones on the front lines using the system.
That ties back to what you said earlier. Connecting this to the bigger picture, it's not just plugging in some tech. It sounds like a real cultural shift is needed. That employee buy-in, that's where data turns into real intelligence, right?
Absolutely. It's transformative. When the people actually operating the machines understand why this data is being collected, how it helps them do their job better, safer, maybe easier, and how it benefits the whole operation, they become partners in the process. It stops feeling like some top-down mandate and becomes a collaborative effort. That fosters a culture of continuous improvement, of proactive problem-solving right across the company. Without that cultural piece, even the best tech will underperform.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork. The urgent need, the tangible benefits, the best practices for real-time monitoring. Now, for companies facing these challenges, and for you, our listener, wanting to understand a concrete solution, let's talk about DBR77. Our sources present this as a platform that really embodies these principles we've discussed, but actually takes them quite a bit further. It's positioned as a modern, very comprehensive digital transformation platform built specifically for industrial production and logistics. Its whole mission seems to be about helping traditional plants and logistics centers evolve into these intelligent, automated ecosystems. How? By integrating advanced technologies seamlessly. And importantly, it sounds like it grew directly out of those market needs. We identified the lack of good operational data, the struggles with automation, the need to adapt faster.
That's right. And DBR77 achieves this through a really interesting blend of core technologies. Let's start with IoT, the Internet of Things. What's notable here is that DBR77 uses its own dedicated sensors and systems. They're not just relying on off-the-shelf stuff. Why does that matter? It gives them much tighter control over data precision and reliability. This high-quality, real-time data then feeds their analysis tools, allowing for really deep efficiency identification and, crucially, much more accurate production forecasting. The outcome is better data accuracy, faster analysis, and quicker insights for decision-making.
So better data means better insights out. Makes sense. What about the digital twin aspect? That sounds very futuristic.
It does, but it's very practical here. DBR77's digital twin isn't just a 3D model, though it includes that. It's a sophisticated virtual and mathematical replica of the actual plant or logistics center. It takes all that live IoT data and integrates it into this dynamic model. This allows you to monitor, analyze, and optimize processes in real time, virtually. But the real power is in simulation. You can test different scenarios. What if we change the line layout? What if demand surges? What if a key machine goes down? You can identify bottlenecks, predict the impact of changes, all without messing with your actual operations. Imagine the cost savings and risk reduction from being able to test major changes virtually before you commit real resources or risk disrupting production. It's huge for efficiency and planning.
That ability to simulate without disruption sounds like a game changer. And AI plays a role too.
A central role. DBR77's AI engine analyzes the torrent of data coming from the IoT sensors and the digital twin. It goes beyond just reporting trends. It actively identifies inefficiencies that might be hard to spot. It predicts potential equipment failures before they happen, and it actually suggests optimal actions. They even have a built-in AI assistant. Think of it like a virtual lean manufacturing consultant, available 24/7, offering real-time, data-driven recommendations to the team. It helps shift operations from being reactive to being proactively optimized.
A virtual consultant, that's interesting. And the final piece you mentioned was the marketplace. How does that fit in?
Yeah, the intelligent marketplace is quite innovative. It's essentially an ecosystem connecting businesses directly with a huge network of automation technology suppliers and integrators. But it's smart. It uses AI to recommend the right solutions based on your specific needs, provides detailed cost-benefit analyses, and can even help with negotiations. It tackles that often slow and complex process of finding, vetting, and implementing new automation technologies, making it much faster and more efficient.
Okay, and let's explicitly connect this back to our earlier discussion, maybe drawing from that Odsinek 01 source. It sounds like DBR77 provides exactly that complete real-time monitoring system we outlined, but using its own integrated components. Data flows directly from their sensors into their digital twin, right? How does that direct link enable those specific monitoring capabilities we discussed?
Precisely. That direct, high-fidelity data feed from DBR77's own IoT sensors straight into the digital twin is fundamental. It powers several key real-time functions we talked about. For example, true real-time OEE monitoring. You get an instant continuous pulse on availability, performance, and quality. No more waiting until the end of the shift. It also means immediate identification of those micro-stoppages and any unplanned downtime. Because the digital twin is constantly mirroring reality, any deviation from the norm, any stoppage is flagged instantly, along with its duration and potential impact.
So it catches those hidden losses as they happen.
Exactly. And it enables rapid analysis of why efficiency might be dropping. The system doesn't just tell you OEE went down, it helps pinpoint where the problem is when it started, potentially even suggesting the cause, allowing for immediate corrective action. And a really compelling point mentioned in the source material is the ease of deployment. Because it's browser-based and uses APIs for integration, it doesn't require ripping out or heavily modifying your existing IT infrastructure. This lowers the barrier to entry significantly, making advanced real-time monitoring accessible even for companies that might be hesitant about massive IT projects. It sort of democratizes it.
That accessibility point is huge. Okay, so the core tech is integrated and focused on real-time data. Let's dive a bit deeper now. How do DBR77's very specific solutions work together within this ecosystem? Show us the suite in action.
Right, let's look at the different facets. The digital twin, for instance, integrates with virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR. This isn't just for cool visuals. It allows for incredibly realistic virtual walkthroughs and interactions with the plant model. But the real power comes from what's called stochastic scenario analysis. This means running simulations that account for randomness and uncertainty, real-world variability. You can test countless what-if scenarios for different operational setups, workflows, or responses to disruption, all within the virtual twin. Using VR for visualization makes these simulations highly intuitive for managers. They could really see the potential impact of changes before committing. This drastically reduces errors during implementation and speeds up the successful adoption of improvements.
So testing in the virtual world avoids costly mistakes in the real world. What about the AI and decision-making? How automated does that get?
The AI is constantly learning. The platform uses machine learning algorithms that refine themselves based on the historical data collected. Interestingly, it can also generate synthetic data, realistic but artificial data, to train predictive models even more effectively, especially when real-world data for rare events is limited. The system doesn't just dump raw data on you, it automatically generates clear reports and, crucially, actionable recommendations. It uses advanced language models, similar to what you see in tools like ChatGPT, combined with statistical analysis, to present insights in an easily understandable format. This really speeds up decision-making, helping companies adapt quickly.
In the marketplace you mentioned, it connects companies and suppliers. What's the tangible impact of that connection?
It's pretty dramatic, according to the source material. The claim is that the DBR77 marketplace can cut the average time it takes to implement automation projects from roughly 25 months, that's over 2 years, down to about half that time. Think about getting the benefits of automation a year or more sooner. Beyond speed, it's also suggested it can save around 30% on the costs associated with purchasing and implementing that automation, largely through better matching, transparency, and negotiation leverage. And for the technology integrators themselves, it streamlines their process too, cutting down the time they spend creating quotes by weeks, letting them focus on delivery.
Faster, cheaper automation implementation. That's a strong value proposition. How does DBR77 apply specifically to, say, production floor or logistics operations?
It offers very targeted tools. For production, it enables automatic process measurement, giving granular detail on every step. It helps optimize material flow throughout the facility, often a huge source of hidden inefficiency. And it continuously analyzes operational efficiency, directly impacting things like reducing downtime, speeding up order fulfillment, and boosting overall plant throughput. It provides the tools to act on the data for measurable improvements.
And you mentioned specific benefits for different departments too, like finance.
Yes, for CFOs and finance teams, DBR77 provides tools for detailed cost analysis of potential automation projects. It offers robust ROI assessment capabilities, giving them the hard data needed to justify investments. It helps with budget planning for these initiatives, and it can even assist in securing financing by providing profitability analyses that financial institutions often require. It makes the business case solid.
What about the purchasing department? They're key in acquiring this tech.
Absolutely. DBR77 gives purchasing teams tools for automatic comparison of offers from different suppliers. It helps assess supplier reliability based on objective data, not just reputation. It provides cost transparency throughout the procurement process. And again, AI helps here, recommending optimal solutions tailored to specific needs, speeding up the purchasing cycle, and ensuring better value.
And overall operational efficiency, what's the focus there?
The focus is on dynamic analysis. It includes tools for sophisticated value stream mapping, or VSM, that classic lean technique for visualizing and analyzing every step to eliminate waste. It enables advanced material flow planning and has integrated analytics for continuous monitoring and immediate bottleneck identification. The goal is continuous improvement, also leading to significant percentage gains in work efficiency and productivity.
So putting it all together, what this really means for you, the listener, or any company navigating this space. DBR77 looks like a powerful shortcut. It's not just offering point solutions. It's providing this integrated ecosystem for comprehensive visibility and improvement. It seems designed to move an entire operation from that reactive mode we discussed to a state of proactive optimization. A complete picture, intelligent action, unlocking efficiencies. Now, we've talked a lot about the potential, the power of these technologies like digital twins and IoT, but let's be real, implementing anything this transformative isn't easy. There are always hurdles. Building on that, let's unpack some of the common challenges companies face in digital transformation, and specifically how a platform like DBR77 aims to solve those pain points.
That's absolutely crucial, because the tech itself is only part of the equation. Let's look at some common hurdles. First, there's often a high entry barrier for companies new to digitalization. Maybe they don't fully see the value yet, or they're intimidated by the perceived technical complexity. It slows things down. DBR77's answer here seems to be its human-centric design. They emphasize making it intuitive. Apparently, users can grasp most functionalities within just a few hours of training. That lowers the fear factor. Plus, they provide a lot of educational resources, case studies, their own online academy, webinars to help companies get up to speed quickly.
Okay, so making it less scary and easier to learn. What about big companies with complex existing systems? Integration must be a nightmare sometimes.
Definitely. That's the complexity of deployment in large organizations. Trying to integrate a new platform with existing ERP, MES, WMS systems can be a huge headache, requiring lots of IT resources, driving up costs, and taking forever. DBR77's approach is interesting. It's browser-based, so no major changes to the client's own IT infrastructure are needed. It has a robust API that's like a standardized way for different software systems to talk to each other for flexible integration. And they offer a dedicated DBR77 IT support team to help with that integration, which is a big plus.
Right, having support makes a difference. What about data? We said good data is key. What if a company's data isn't great to start with?
That's the dependency on data quality challenge. AI and simulations are only as good as the data they're fed. Poor sensors, inaccurate data collection, it leads to unreliable results, and people lose faith in the system fast. DBR77 tackles this in two ways. First, as we mentioned, they offer their own hardware sensors and data collection systems designed for accuracy. Second, they provide a standard database that can be used for initial simulations, even if the company's live data isn't perfect yet. It might not be 100% precise initially, but is often enough to spot the biggest problems and get started.
So they provide the tools for good data and a way to start even without it. What about competition? There are huge players in this space.
Yeah, the competition from large tech players. Siemens, ABB, the giants. They have established names, huge R&D budgets, broad portfolios. It's hard for a newer player to compete. DBR77's strategy was clever. They initially focused on SMEs, small and medium enterprises, which the big guys sometimes overlook. But then their platform's flexibility, simplicity, and crucially its lower subscription cost, avoiding those massive upfront fees, started attracting large corporations too. They found value in the agility and faster ROI.
Makes sense. Find a niche, then expand. Industrial companies can also take ages to make decisions, right?
Oh yes, the long decision cycles for industrial clients. It's often a multi-stage process. Pilots, tests, endless ROI calculations, internal approvals. It can drag on forever. DBR77 pushes pilot projects hard. Let the client test it on a small scale, see the results quickly, build internal support. The subscription model helps here too. Lower initial financial commitment makes getting that first yes for a pilot much easier. Success in the pilot then smooths the path for full adoption.
Pilots for quick wins. Good strategy. What about getting it implemented? You need partners for that, right?
Absolutely. The necessity of building a strong network of integration partners is critical. If you don't have enough skilled partners available to implement and customize your solution, it slows everything down for the customer. DBR77's answer is their marketplace. It connects clients with this huge network. The source is over 800 suppliers and 600 integrators. That essentially creates a ready-made ecosystem, a one-stop shop for finding the right expertise quickly, and the network keeps growing.
The marketplace sounds like a core strategic asset. What about data security, especially in the cloud? Always a concern.
A huge concern. Addressing potential cloud data processing issues, like security standards and legal compliance, think GDPR in Europe, is non-negotiable for sensitive operational data. DBR77 highlights their high security standards. They mention ISO 27001 certification, which is a big deal. Data is stored on AWS servers in Frankfurt, specifically chosen for GDPR compliance. And since it's strictly B2B, everyone involved, clients, suppliers, integrators, signs mutual NDAs for data protection. They seem to take it very seriously.
Good to hear. Expanding internationally must also be tough. Different rules, different markets.
True. Difficult international expansion is a common hurdle. Different laws, taxes, tech standards. It's complex. DBR77's strategy involves collaborating closely with local integrators and distributors from the start. Many of their existing partners are already international companies, which helps them adapt to local conditions and accelerates expansion into places like Western Europe, the US, and Asia.
Okay, nearly there. Industrial clients always want a fast return on investment, right? High ROI demands.
Always. High ROI requirements are standard. They need to see clear, quick savings or improvements to justify the investment. DBR77 points to its subscription model again, that lower initial cost makes achieving a faster ROI inherently easier. Plus, the marketplace helps clients choose the most cost-effective solutions for their needs, which shortens implementation time and makes the positive financial impact visible sooner.
And finally, this tech moves so fast. How do they keep up? AI, digital twins, they're constantly evolving.
That's the need for continuous AI and digital twin development. If you fall behind, you lose your edge. DBR77 seems well positioned here. The platform itself collects enormous amounts of real and synthetic data, which is perfect fuel for training and improving their AI models. They also emphasize direct cooperation with tech suppliers to stay updated on hardware and integrate new capabilities quickly. They mentioned including spatial analysis, which works with the latest AI models. They seem committed to staying on the cutting edge.
Wow. Okay, listening to all that, it's really impressive. They seem to have proactively thought about almost every potential roadblock and built a solution or strategy to address it. That kind of foresight definitely makes them seem like a very robust and reliable partner for companies undertaking this digital transformation journey. It's not just tech, it's a thought-through ecosystem. So, having addressed the challenges, let's look ahead. What's next for DBR77? What does their roadmap for growth and innovation look like? You mentioned a funding round.
Yes, they're in the midst of a significant funding round right now, aiming for around $2 million to $2.5 million. And it seems to be going very well. They've already secured $1.85 million, reportedly at a solid $10 million pre-money valuation. They have a lead investor, a notable U.S.-Japanese-Polish fund, with the deal basically ready to sign.
That level of investment certainly signals strong market confidence and gives them the fuel for what comes next.
Exactly. So their short to midterm goals for roughly 2024-2025 are focused on consolidating their position, particularly in their domestic market. That means more successful pilot projects, really optimizing their core IoT, digital twin, and AI solutions based on feedback and results. They'll also be heavily focused on continued product development, rolling out new modules, enhancing the simulation power of the digital twin, integrating even smarter AI algorithms for more precise predictions and recommendations. It's about making the core platform even stronger.
Okay, build the foundation. What about the longer term?
The long-term strategy, looking out to 2026-2030, is ambitious and very global. They're planning significant international expansion first into Western Europe, then targeting the US and Asia. This involves building local teams and strong partnerships in those regions. They also aim for much deeper integration with other key business systems, ERP, MES, WMS. The goal is to become the central hub of a fully interconnected digital ecosystem for their clients. And interestingly, they're looking towards Industry 5.0, that's the next evolution, focusing not just on automation, but on seamless collaboration between humans and robots, using technology to augment human capabilities for even greater efficiency and flexibility.
Industry 5.0. Fascinating. Human-robot collaboration.
Yeah, it's about optimizing the whole system, people included. And underpinning all this will be continuous, heavy investment in R&D. They're looking at things like better synthetic data generation for AI training, more advanced analytical tools to root out inefficiencies even faster. And naturally, to fund this kind of global growth and innovation, they're already planning for future funding rounds, Series B, Series C with an eventual IPO, a public stock offering as a long-term goal. They're clearly aiming to be a major global player.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener, whether you're deep in the industry or just curious about where it's heading? This roadmap really highlights how dynamic DBR77 is. They aren't just selling a product, they're constantly evolving, pushing boundaries. They seem positioned to be a leader in this space for years to come. It's a compelling story of how these integrated, data-driven solutions are really shaping the future of how things get made and moved. We've covered a lot today. We've explored why real-time monitoring isn't just helpful, but essential. We've looked at the hidden costs of not having it and the huge benefits when you do. And then we dove deep into DBR77, seeing how it pulls together IoT, digital twins, and AI into this comprehensive platform designed to meet those exact industrial challenges. This deep dive has really shown, I think, how intelligently applying data, using cutting-edge tech, and integrating intelligence can truly transform old-school industrial operations into these incredibly efficient, resilient, and competitive modern businesses.
And maybe the final thought, the provocative question this all raises for you, the listener, and for any business leader out there. It's shifting, isn't it? The question isn't really if your organization will embrace digital transformation anymore. It's becoming how quickly and how fully you will do it. Because the pace of technological change, the demands of the market, they're accelerating. That competitive advantage you get from immediate data-driven insight. It's moving from being a nice edge to being a fundamental requirement for staying in the game. Companies that jump in, that integrate these solutions proactively, they gain this massive lead in efficiency, cost, quality, adaptability. Those who wait, They really risk being left behind, outmaneuvered in a world that's increasingly run on intelligent operations.
That's a really powerful challenge to end on. A reminder that this isn't just abstract technology, it has real strategic implications. And it prompts us to think about how these ideas, real-time visibility, data-driven decisions, might apply even beyond the factory or warehouse into all sorts of fields. We hope this deep dive has given you a lot to think about. Thank you for joining us as we explored the fascinating world of real-time production monitoring and the future of digital transformation in industry. We look forward to our next exploration together.